have Sherman Barrington here. I'm super excited because you've now almost been with us for 5 years.
Yeah.
That'd be November 1st. You would be 5 years with us. And I actually remember when we used to start talking, I guess, at the beginning, right? I used to bug you from time to time. You came in, we had a meeting.
Yes.
Wasn't long after that you decided to come on board.
And my first time coming on board was when I met, an admin at the front desk. I was dropping off a commission check for a transaction, and I met him, and it was nice chatting with him. And he's a charming fellow. He's like, hey, before you leave, you got to talk to Tanya. I'm like, you sure? He's like, yeah, have a chat with her. And I said, you admin guy, you people at the front desk, you're great. You do a lot of good work. And we had a nice little 10-minute chat. It was a good highlight of the day. And then I came back and at that point in time, I was with, a different brokerage, and I'm happy to be here now.
Yeah, that's really good. I'm happy, of course, too. It's been a nice 5 years. So what's interesting is you've grown in your business. Things have shifted. So you came in in a market that was about to do a big upswing, and then it's shifted since then. It's gone down.
Yes.
Yet your business, I would say, is consistently on the up. You're growing.
Oh, well, yes. From my first year, it was, I think I did 4X the year after that, and then 2X the year after that. And then went down a bit, and then it went back up to just slightly over. Very, very, yeah. I'd probably say 25% over what my highest year was.
Yeah.
So it's been a good up and down. And then my last transaction, which would have blown up that year, got rolled into this year, which is great for taxes.
Sure. Yeah, I'd say so. And that means you're going to have a phenomenal year this year. You do a little bit of everything. So you're involved a little bit in investment properties. You've done higher price point homes, so luxury properties as well. So you have an interesting mix. Have you played in the commercial space? Remind me.
Yes, I have. So I had started meeting during COVID. I started meeting kind of with local business owners, and predominantly restaurants. And I was like, hey, how can I support your business? What can I do? And it started as, hey, can I buy like $100 gift card and can I give it away on Instagram, which helped to build my notoriety and theirs as well too, and help people kind of promote supporting local businesses. And during those contacts, some of them are like, hey, I need another location for my restaurant, or hey, can I buy that mechanic shop? And I kind of rolled into the commercial realm. So I've done a bunch of commercial leases, a couple commercial purchases, and that's been kind of bringing me into that realm. And on the commercial side, it's been great because those transactions, there's a lot of learning involved.
I bet there is. Yeah, it's different, eh?
But it's good to have good support here in KW. I mean, I always have people lean on when I have any questions, and that's been one thing is the positive support and the energy I receive of kind of being part of the KW family is what makes it such an attractive brokerage to kind of be at.
Oh, that's nice of you to say. I want to ask a little bit more about your business to business. So this is something I'm always so interested. Every time we connect, you're either wrapping up a big launch or a big event that you've had. You do a lot of these promotional activities. And so I'm curious, how much of your business actually comes from business to business, so those relationships that you built and indirect. So are you getting clients when you make those relationships within the businesses? Walk me through that a little bit.
Yes. I mean, and it's the nice part is that those clients, they not only do I meet these local business owners at these events that I'll do, and it'll be either for restaurant owners or for contractors, or have like a New Year's event where I just kind of give away a bunch of presents. I feel kind of almost like Oprah, but with less zeros in my bank account. And she's got better hair, and there's obviously differences, right?
Sure.
But yeah, I have these events, and from these events, with events with the general public, those are general public, but with contractors or restaurant owners, or let's say haven't done mortgage brokers as of yet, and I probably can't do that. So, but yeah, with them, I meet them, and we have a conversation. They're usually not ready to buy or sell or do anything right then and there. But, my interest usually comes in, how can I support your business and how can I help your business grow? I come from a marketing background. Shout out to Sheridan College many, many moons ago. That's can I borrow your fingers?
Yeah.
Can I borrow your fingers? They come from a marketing background. If you give me any business off the top of your head, I can create a general marketing plan, in a matter of half an hour, of a marketing plan, a business plan, how to help them grow and support when based on whatever budget. It's just natural to me. It's a natural thing of whatever industry it is. So I can do that. And for a lot of the business owners, we have this chat about, where's your business at? Where you're growing? How can I support? What's working for you so far? What have been your failures? We have that chat about supporting their business, and we kind of build a relationship, and I give them some marketing tips and tactics if they want. And this kind of nurtures our relationship over time. And then they end up referring me out to their family or their friends, aunts, uncles, nephews, usually like their kids want to buy first home or second home. And the business comes very organically.
And so if you had to put a number on it, let's say last year in 2024, how many pieces of business would you say came from your marketing within these other businesses?
2.
Yes. And you anticipate that obviously growing. Are you expanding your reach with businesses, or are you kind of focusing just on the group that you have?
So last year we made a baby. Yay!
And she's super adorable.
And I became a girl dad, which is being a girl dad's great. And it kind of took away from my kind of expansion. And yes, my business did very well in terms of the numbers of transactions I did. But on the marketing side, I hadn't been doing as much growth in terms of meeting new business owners and kind of expanding that kind of network as I normally would. So that was kind of like a little bit of stall on that. My business was fine, which is great. But yeah, I have kind of this year is kind of getting back onto expanding that network, and kind of I kind of have the business owners kind of meet each other too. I mean, if I see like-minded people, I kind of connect with each other, and that kind of helps to grow that. It creates like a little synergy and kind of grows a little more pockets. So yeah, I'm kind of focusing more on the growth this year. Last year was just kind of taking it easy, and those transactions came from long-term relationships.
Sure.
They were people who were like, their children were buying, I don't know, it was like a year. It was a year since I had met the kids at like a Stag and Doe event where they're like, hey, do you guys, we're going to buy a house sometime. Like, all right, great. I know your mom and dad, they own the restaurant, and we just chatted, and then their transaction came through. So it's, I am focusing on growth this year in 2025, but in 2024, it was mostly just kind of maintaining those relationships. Yeah. A lot of nurturing, a lot of just those phone calls. How's the business doing? Some of the businesses have closed down. We see kind of happens in Hamilton sometimes. Yeah. And my follow-up is just kind of, where you at in life and how can I help support?
And so with majority of the business that you get, like, we know as realtors, there's a minimum 10 different ways to find business. So of course the cold calling, is that's something you entertain, or you don't do cold calling at all?
No, I prefer not to.
Do you door knock?
I have with our door knocking caravan, with the KW caravan.
When it shows up, sure.
But not really. By myself, I wouldn't door knock unless it is it's like a listing that I have.
Cool.
So I'll door knock like the street, and I'll just be like, hey, we have this house for sale on your street. If you have interest in the valuation of your property, let me know. If you want to know what this property sells for, because it is going to sell, it's going to affect the value of your property, I can send you an email. I keep it pretty short and sweet.
And so and this is interesting. So a lot of agents will say, well, I don't have a database. Or I say, okay, pull up your database. And they'll say, I only have 100 people in there and I don't have anyone to call. And the first thing that I think, honestly, like, you pop in my head, because I think you just found business. And so you may not have, focus on the sphere or the cold call or the internal lead gen, which I'm certain that you do, right? You have relationships with people and you call, but you just decided that you're going to go out, connect with the community, and it's provided 2 deals last year, which is a pretty healthy return for relationship building, right? And that it likely will just continue to expand. So I like that.
Well, yeah, that was 2 deals from from specifically the small business owners. Yeah. I think there was another one deal, one transaction from just the general residential community, like the general public. And then there was like a lease transaction from that as well too. So in total of just the regular community outreach, combining local business owners and the regular general public, has been 3 transactions and 1 lease. So I'm assuming it's going to kind of stay at that level, maybe grow it a little more. Yep. But a lot of people in my sphere have been fantastic with repeat business and referrals, and just people I haven't talked to in a very, very long time who have done some outreach on social media, and we meet for coffees, we kind of chat, and they say, there's a friend of mine who wants to buy a property, or we just got a lump sum money, we're going to buy a bigger house.
Sure, yeah, right now.
Good. So that's been good. Now, one thing I do love connecting with the community, because you get to hear people's stories of these restaurants you might go to all the time. You might go to you might find your favorite restaurant you visit on a regular basis, and you might see the owner and be like, hey, hi. But if you don't get a chance to sit down and have a coffee with them,
You'll never know.
You'll never get a chance to know their story or, where their passion is and how they grew their business and what kind of trials and tribulations they've had. Those stories, I love that. I love that kind of connection and understanding somebody's full story as opposed to just, you make this delicious dish that I love and I can have for the rest of my life. But, who inspired it? Was it grandma? Was it great grandma? Was it because you guys came over from a different country?
Sure.
Or is it generational? So
interesting.
Yeah, I like to learn those stories.
Very good. Now I'm going to switch gears. So when you first came in, we were talking about a team. So you've been solo, but remind me, you were on a team prior to being solo in the mix. Talk
Originally, when I had started, so about a year before I had started in real estate, me and my fantastic wife, we bought our first investment property, and it was a lovely duplex, and we still have it. We have great tenants there, and it cash flows, and it's great. And the agent who I worked with was one of Megan's, I think, elementary or high school friends. She'll correct me if I'm wrong on this one, but she's known him for a number of years, and because he got licensed as an agent basically fresh out of high school. So he had kind of connected with all the people, and he had been like the known agent.
That's not common either, right? Straight from high school, right? Super uncommon.
So he had been kind of like the known agent. It might have been out of high school, out of college, wherever he was.
Sure.
No, probably not college. He's not a college type of fellow. But either way, so he was the known agent in their friend group, and I met him. We jived very, very well. We did follow the same sports team for a bit, and I'm no longer following that sports team because they suck. I have a new sports team now. I did. But yeah, we jived really well, and he said, and I was already in my real estate courses, and he said, hey, whenever you're finished all your real estate courses, come join my team. Join my team, meet my business partner. Even before I was done my course, I met his business partner. We chatted, and I got licensed, joined their team, and I learned quite a bit because they had, I think he had 15 years experience at that point in time. So seasoned agent, knows a lot of tricks of the trade, and it was a good time. We jive really well as friends. But on the business side, I wasn't kind of getting the support that I get here at KW from the whole brokerage. That brokerage, was, if you say this brokerage is a nice, warm, bubbly hot tub, that brokerage was kind of like jumping into Lake Ontario in like
middle of winter.
I'd say like November, not December, but October. So
sure.
So I spent my first year there. Did a couple of my first transactions there. I did learn a little bit, and I'm definitely grateful for the experience. But yeah, I was part of a team, and then I had left the team, and after I had left the team, I was an individual in that brokerage for a little bit, and
so I started blowing up your phone.
Yeah. Till we chatted a couple times, and I'm like, it was either you guys or Search Realty at that time. Yep. Can I mention other brokerages here?
Yeah,
am I allowed to? Okay. I was either you guys or Search Realty at that point in time, and with Search Realty, they were very much online based. Everyone works from home. You never meet anyone, and I wanted that camaraderie, and that's what I found here at KW.
Yeah. And so now you're solo, and I understand you just met with a team for a casual conversation about what recruiting looks like, joining a team. How do you feel about that? Interesting.
I'm kind of always up and down with the team. I want the team mentality. I want to kind of work with a bunch of the group of people. I get the energy from, I guess I'm an extrovert. Is that what I am? Yeah.
Sure are.
I'm an extroverted extrovert. So you put me in a crowd of people, I'm like, oh, this is great. I want to talk to every single person, hear everyone's story, and see what everyone's doing, and chat with all the people and give advice and get advice and share life stories. That's what I want to do. For days and days and days, I can do that. I want that, but with a team, there's gives and takes.
Sure.
So I'm just unsure of kind of the path forward. It's always a question. I was on a team before, with another seasoned agent, and they, the camaraderie was kind of there, which is good. The accountability was kind of there, which is good. But I don't know, they were like an older group of people-ish. Like I got some grays over here, but I'm a young soul.
And that showed up when you were on that team, I guess.
Maybe.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you two questions. The first one being, if you had to give yourself 3 reasons why you should join a team, what would they be? Convince yourself with 3 points why you should join.
Higher levels of productivity.
Okay.
obviously the camaraderie and the energy, and accountability.
And those are 3 things you currently don't get or you get at a lower level that you're looking to upgrade on, yeah?
Yeah, I get those at a lower level. Yeah.
Okay. And so give yourself 3 reasons why you shouldn't join a team.
There is a split that's involved that, there's team split that's involved. And I think that's the biggest reason. There's always a split that's involved. And, I would still continue on doing my regular activities, and then I would have team activities as well too. So I was trying to balance the 2 of them, and I'm hoping it would generate more time, but I'm unsure of that.
Yeah. And so that actually shows up in most conversations with recruiting, whether that's to brokerage or to team. And usually the direction I go in is the value for you for all those 3 reasons why you should join. Do you see the value in exchange for that? And if, for example, your business could double as a result of having some of those problems solved, then would you at that point agree that it might be worth it to build your business or to have the accountability?
Yeah, and then obviously money at the end, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I have a fantastic little human being I have to support, and I have another human being who's my wife. She's taller than that.
Yeah.
And my wife obviously works. She works a full-time job, and she makes great money, which is fantastic. So she has a stability. And my income is always kind of fluctuates up and down. So. I need to make sure that I'm accountable to my family, and they come first.
Real estate can be a wild card sometimes, depending on the market we're in.
Yeah. But it's what I've noticed is that for me, I'm lucky that the effort I put into marketing directly results in business.
Yeah.
It always does.
Money shows up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the more time I have to put into marketing, the more business, the more money I'll earn. I don't do a lot of I try not to reach out to people who I don't know or in conversation about real estate. I don't do any of the cold calling or the door knocking or any of the kind of the cold stuff. And it's a lot of, it's so far so good. And I know it doesn't always work that way. Like marketing is always kind of like a chance, there's a percentage chance of your ROI there, but, so far so good. I mean, and I love the events here. Like KW has a great event space over here. That's one thing I love with this brokerage is that other brokerages don't have a good event space.
Culture is, I would say culture is one of the big ones for us, right?
Yeah.
Very much a sharing based brokerage. We like to work together and support each other.
And we have a popcorn machine.
That's key. I would say that when it's started up at 9:00 in the morning, I'm starving by 9:30.
Because one of my clients had called me. This was like just last month. One of my clients called me and she's like, "Hey, I'm looking for an event to have my husband's 40th birthday party. She's like, I see these videos you have these events, and where are they?" I'm like, "Oh, they're at my brokerage." There's a client of mine. She'd never been here because we meet at we'll meet at a restaurant or we'll meet at her house and do that stuff. And I brought her in the place, and we had her husband was here, and he said the place looks great, and we had his 40th birthday here.
That's beautiful.
And from there, like I didn't have any real estate conversations really with anyone.
No, but you just got a client for life.
Yeah, and everyone kind of knows who I am and what I do for the most part. I had some business cards, a stack of business cards up there at the front. I noticed a couple of them were missing, so
that's a good sign.
Good.
Maybe worth your while.
But it kind of fed my soul of just kind of seeing people enjoying themselves and having fun is something that I can be a part of. Yeah.
I like that. You're right. That does feel good. I want to ask you a question. I want to know what out of curiosity, your worst day in real estate was.
Oh, worst.
This always is something that I like to think about because when we go through those moments, it makes or breaks us. It hasn't broken you. And so I'm curious, what that moment was and how you were able to get through it.
I think it's, I lost a listing. So for the first 2 years in business, anytime I walked into, and I guess I was spoiled. I was just spoiled. Any listing I'd walk into, I'd be like, hey, can we, you'd call me and you'd call me over for coffee and say, let's list the property and say, great. We'd sign some stuff and that'd be it. That would be it. Like
that's simple.
Then the first time that I lost a listing, I was blown away.
Just devastated.
I didn't know what to do. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Why are they? What do you mean? And like it was somebody in my neighborhood. So they saw my sign up at my neighbor's house, which I was selling, and they called me up and they said, "Can you come on over?" I said, "What do you like some snacks and you come coffees?" And they said, "Oh, we're good. We came on by, we chatted, was there for about an hour at the house. I met their dog and we saw some comparables, walked around the house, had a great conversation."
It seemed like a closed deal.
Absolutely. And I'm like, I wasn't even rushing to send the paperwork. And I was like, let's take it easy. Everything's good. And then they signed with like Michael St. Jean. And I was shocked. I was blown away. I was like, and I was like clutching my pearls. I can't believe it. I was in shock.
Well, did you ever end up following up to see why it was that they chose another?
They never responded. Anything. Calls, texts. I was going to go by their house and be like, hey, like, what happened? But nothing. No contact. And poof, blown away.
A lot of learning that day, huh?
I was so humbled. I was so humbled. My wife had to walk me off a cliff. I was like, no fear. I don't like it. I was wasn't a petulant child.
Were you? I was gonna say, were you kicking around like a toddler?
I was close to, but I also I had a listing that was up right like then and there, like right on my street that was there, and they were less than 3 blocks away, and they called me, so I thought
you had it.
Whew. So yeah, that was really humbling. And then I guess equally as disappointing, or an equal day that was really painful, was there's a really good friend of mine who was in my wedding party, who I've known for 24 years at this point in time, maybe even longer than that. And yeah, we had talked and we were chatting, and he said, "Hey, you know what? I'm probably gonna buy a house with the girlfriend some time. I might put in my name, might put in her name." We talked about it. We talk all the time.
Cool.
We meet up for beers on a regular. I'll referee his sports teams when they play. I don't ref, but we're just there drinking beers, having fun.
Yeah.
And he and his girlfriend had just they bought a condo, and they just bought a condo with the listing agent.
I've had similar experiences. Yeah.
And he had me over for we went over for not to his house, but went to a bar down like just outside of his house that we normally don't go to. And I'm like, okay, well, let's go by this bar. We had a couple beers. He's like, hey, let's drive over here. So we drove over here, and he's like, hey, that's my condo over there. I'm like, what do you mean that's your condo? What do you mean? We had spoken on I don't know, a couple times a week leading up to before the closing, before the purchase, all that stuff. And he had explained to me that while they were there, they saw this condo, and he's like, "Whoa, we should call Sherman and get this set up." And his girlfriend is like, "No, let's just go do it right now." And he's like, "Okay," and I was like, I'm like, "What do you mean, okay? What do you mean?" So
a lot of the time, so that exact same scenario happened to me. And so it just so happened that this close personal relationship and context I had, they did the same thing. Mm-hmm. And they were so proud of themselves. And I was proud of them too. Great, you got a home. And he's like, well, we knew that we would save a lot of money by going to the listing agent. And us as realtors, we know that just isn't true. Mm-hmm. And so what ends up happening when, instead of coming to a trusted source where we understand what goes on and we understand what to look for and what's going on in the market, and we likely could negotiate the price far better than someone who isn't in our field.
Yes.
And, even the experience you have in looking at properties in the neighborhoods, and how from one neighborhood to another, how much changes, understanding that the listing agent actually fights for the home seller. Mm-hmm. And so it would be the same as me and you going into a legal battle, and we have the same lawyer, but you signed with him first, and I actually didn't sign paperwork. And what ends up happening is he's there to protect you and not to protect me. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's a valuable lesson that you learned. I'm glad you learned it, only because I learned the same one, which helps me understand that moving forward, if someone mentions to me that they're looking to buy or sell, I have a really great story to share with them to make sure that they know a lot of these things before they go to open houses, and they understand what could happen as a result. So even though, especially in the world that we're in, Sherman, so many times we come across these unique one-off situations, and I'm so grateful when I do. Maybe they cost us some money, and that's okay. Yep. Because they save us so much more money in the long run. And more importantly, they save our clients a ton of money oftentimes.
Yes.
And put them in a better situation, right?
Yeah. And I mean, the conversation I have now with any new clients, especially with my friends and family, you know, I've had that kind of conversation, say, hey, I'm here to help. If there's something you're interested in, let me know. If you find that one-off property that you love, call me. This is my job. This is what I do. And I'm here to help you. So I do that. But then when I meet new people as well too, like let's say at an open house, I'll meet somebody brand spanking new, never met them before. And they're like, hey, can you help us find a house? And I'm like, yes. And I said, and I always have that conversation, you know, if you find the house you're looking for and, you know, it's at another open house, you know, give me a call and I'll drive right over.
Yeah.
And they're like, really? It's at any time? I said, anytime. And that's a high bar.
Sure.
But, you know, I kind of just give them the understanding is that, you know, it's like a dentist, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, would you go to the dentist and say, oh, let me get the tools, let me do it myself? Well, probably not. You know, would you walk into like a legal court and represent yourself if somebody else is paying for your lawyer? Well, maybe not, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And so on the other side, the best real estate day you had, or the day where you really took a step back and you sat on your porch, cracked open a beer and said, this is a really great day.
There's a number of good ones. And I don't think I have one that's the best. But
was it your first check? Your first pay? Was that a big one? Or you worked really hard for a buyer client, a young family that you were able to close on? Anything like that? Those are feel good days.
It was, so it was that's a condo in Etobicoke. My client had bought a property already in Kitchener. They're upsizing. They bought in the heat of the market. Mm-hmm. They paid, I don't even know, $400,000 over asking for the property they bought. It's a good property, great property, and they're happy. And they decided to go firm in this property with a long closing, and we had to sell their condo. So the timelines are getting very tight in terms of listing the condo, and they had some stuff they needed to do, and we got it listed. And at the time that we needed to close, the time we needed to get that condo listed, marketed, offers in, and sold was tight, and the market had just shifted where people weren't seeing that kind of value in condos anymore. Mm-hmm. So we had a couple leads come in, and I pursued every single one far enough that one of them gave us an offer which was under what my client wanted to accept, and I had to just drag and claw that offer up back and forth to a decent number, and then after that, get them to move a closing date to hit what my client needed. And so they got a price that was acceptable to them and a market that was not favorable to them selling, and they got a closing date to actually work out, whereas they weren't going to be bleeding money because they were this close to potentially losing their other house. Mm-hmm. So once it got all done, everyone signed and set. I think I sat back in my chair and I let it was just a sigh of relief. And I was like, okay, we win.
Yeah. This is, I think, something that a lot of clients end up completely perhaps overlooking is how much of their lives we get wrapped into and how we can lose sleep at night, mm-hmm. knowing that other people's lives are on the line and we're trying to pull sometimes magic out of a hat.
Yeah.
To make things work and to make things go. And it's stressful.
We were a copper team of rock, a wall, a hard place, and like a concrete floor. And there was nowhere to go. So yeah, I do get wrapped up in my clients' affairs, especially with first-time home buyers when it's their first time doing this. They have, they had never had this experience before. Most people are going to transact, give or take, 3 to 6 times in their whole life. But first-time home buyers, it's your first time. You're taking a big step. You're buying the largest asset you're going to have in your life for the most part, for most people, right? And it's intimidating. It's intimidating. There's a high level of emotions involved. You might be moving out of home, or might be leaving your condo you've loved forever, or you might be leaving, a basement apartment you've been in. You might be moving in together, which you should live together first before you buy a house together. But yeah, I'm usually there for that support. And I didn't realize before I became an agent, I didn't realize the amount of emotional support that my clients would need. And something I find them really good at, and it feels good.
Yeah, you would be good at. You're exactly the right guy for that. And that's, we deal with all kinds of people. I think, people that are selling out of happiness and joy, they're growing their family, or sadness, or just, having to change locations due to work, or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
We take on a lot of that ourselves, and we carry that throughout the entire process and for years after, right? We always follow up with our clients, and you're the right guy for that, for sure. You've always had that personal touch, right? With everyone in the brokerage, on ALC, with myself, for sure. And so, it's a lot, but it's a lot of fun, isn't it?
It is. It's emotionally engaging, and it's, definitely a lot of fun.
If you weren't in real estate, what would you be doing?
Something in environmental sciences. Yeah. That's
drastic shift.
Absolutely. For sure. Like, that's absolutely. Yeah. Because there's, and I don't know who my high school counselor was. Whoever it was your fault. But I just didn't know. When I finished high school, that there was those kind of jobs. Whether it be in let's say in like hydrology, which is like the study of water and desalination water and what kind of aquifers that we have, and making sure that we have fresh water for everyone. Or the idea of like, nuclear energy and, kind of green and safe ways to have energy with like micro reactors I can drop one in my house. There's one at actually McMaster. There's like the micro nuclear reactor in McMaster. It's completely safe, and it powers the entire university, and it's not very big.
Wild.
The transition away from, fossil fuels, which is, kind of polluting our planet and yada, yada, yada.
I like this nerdy version of you.
Yeah. So that's absolutely where I'd be. I mean, I love cruises, for example. And, the goal of mine, if I was in that field, would be finding a way to have cruise ships run off of whether it be hydrogen or electricity or something other than the diesel fuel, because which I love, going on Carnival Cruise Lines, you see the big, tower there that's dumping a bunch of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, and the food is great, but I mean, the impact on the environment, it's not the best.
Yeah. So to wrap up, what's 10 years from now look like? Where are you in 10 years?
Let me see.
Paint me a picture.
Me and little Nina will be traveling around to watch baseball at different stadiums.
Yeah, that's a bucket list thing for sure.
Let me see. Me and my wife would have gotten back to travel because we have done no travel for right now. And Nina, it's not your fault completely, but you're really little, and we got to keep you on life support everywhere you go. So yeah, getting back into a bunch more travel. There's always this thought about, potentially building a team of maybe one or two high-performing agents, but I'm not sure about that. Probably a couple more investment properties because they're very addictive.
This is true. Yeah. I've been there.
Anyone has investment properties, they're addictive. Absolutely. I love having tenants, maybe owning some commercial space.
Yeah, fun.
And then potentially having something in the recreational realm. So maybe like some building where people are playing, let's say like badminton or like ping pong or
fun
racquetball or tennis or pickleball.
I love that.
Pickleball courts.
That's a great idea.
A lot of great ideas. Those are incredibly profitable. Something that I can be at, that I have a fun time, and that I can not be at and be at home.
Sure.
My job is, I'd love to be kind of at home with the family. 10 years. Not exactly sure, but yeah, I definitely, I think I would still be in the business of real estate. I'll do less transactions a year and maybe just bigger ones. Not exactly sure, but hoping to spend more time, with my growing family and kind of do that. That's kind of why I do this, is that I can transact in real estate and be able to be home so I can watch my daughter grow and spend time with my darling wife and enjoy life.
I love that.
And me and my family too. I mean, yes, there's my mom and there's my fantastic mother-in-law and my dad and all my sisters, all my nieces, all those guys too. All those guys
put them all in there.
Put them all in there.
Yeah, right on. Good for you. I love that. I love that for you. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming. It was awesome having you here and catching up and talking a little more in depth about your business and how where you found the business, how you found the business, and how you've made it successful. So thank you.
Yeah, guys. Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be on here next time too. If you guys have any follow-ups,
we'll let you know. Tanya and Sherman with the Complete Agent Podcast.